For decades, Mars has been sold as humanity's backup planet, a second home, a future colony. We talk about it like it's only a matter of time. Fix the rockets, build the habitats, solve radiation. But there's a problem almost no one talks about. Even if we land on Mars, even if we build cities under domes, even if we solve every engineering challenge we can think of, the human body itself may not survive Mars, and the reason has nothing to do with technology. Mars occupies a strange place in human imagination. It's close. It's solid ground. It once had rivers, lakes, maybe oceans. Unlike distant exoplanets, Mars feels reachable, achievable, almost familiar. This is why Mars became the centerpiece of our interplanetary future. Not the Moon, not Venus, not Europa. Mars feels like Earth's younger sibling, damaged but repairable. That belief shaped decades of plans, permanent bases, long-term colonies, even generational cities. But those plans quietly assumed something critical, that humans are biologically adaptable enough to live there. That assumption may be wrong. We often frame Mars as an engineering problem, and to be fair, it is one. Launch windows, entry, descent, landing, life support systems, radiation shielding. But these are solvable problems. Difficult? Yes. Expensive? Absolutely. Impossible? No. History shows that when humanity throws enough time, money, and pressure at engineering, it eventually bends. What doesn't bend easily is biology, and Mars attacks the human body in ways no habitat can fully block. Mars has gravity, just not enough of it. At only 38% of Earth's gravity, Mars exists in a dangerous middle zone. Too weak for long-term human health, too strong to simulate easily with rotation and centrifuges. In microgravity, astronauts lose bone density, muscle mass, cardiovascular strength. We already see this on the International Space Station, but Mars is worse in a subtle way. Microgravity causes damage fast, but partial gravity causes damage slowly and continuously, and slow damage is harder to detect and harder to reverse. On Earth, your skeleton is constantly stressed. That keeps it strong. On Mars, bones experience far less load. The result? Bone resorption accelerates. Calcium leaches into the bloodstream. Bones become brittle from the inside out. Even with aggressive exercise, astronauts lose bone mass in space. On Mars, that loss may never fully stabilize. Now imagine this over years, or decades, or generations. A Martian-born human might never develop Earth-normal bone strength at all, which leads to a disturbing implication. A permanent Mars population may become physically unable to return to Earth. Gravity doesn't just shape bones. It shapes muscles, hearts, blood vessels. In lower gravity, muscles shrink. The heart weakens. Blood pools differently in the body. On Mars, the cardiovascular system would adapt to a world that barely pulls on it. Returning to Earth would feel like suddenly wearing a crushing weight suit. Standing up could cause blackouts. Walking could injure joints. Running might be impossible. Mars doesn't just weaken humans, it reshapes them. If you're enjoying this kind of honest, no-hype space analysis, this is exactly what the channel is about. Subscribe if you want real limits, real science, and the uncomfortable truths most space videos skip. Here's where things get even darker. Spaceflight doesn't just affect muscles and bones. It affects the immune system. Studies show that immune response weakens in space. Latent viruses reactivate. Inflammation markers rise. Mars adds new layers of risk. Chronic radiation exposure. Altered circadian rhythms. Psychological isolation. A weakened immune system on Earth is dangerous. On Mars, it could be fatal. A simple infection, a slow-healing wound, a mutated microbe inside a closed habitat. Mars is not forgiving. This is the topic most Mars plans quietly avoid. No one knows if humans can safely reproduce in Martian gravity. We don't know how embryos develop at 0.38 G, whether organ formation proceeds normally, if brain development is affected, if childbirth is even viable. Animal studies suggest gravity plays a role in cell division, tissue differentiation, neural development. Mars might allow reproduction, but produce bodies incapable with Earth. This isn't colonization, it's speciation. Radiation gets mentioned often, usually briefly, usually vaguely. But Mars's radiation isn't just about cancer risk. It damages DNA repair mechanisms, neural tissue, long-term cognitive function. Unlike Earth, Mars has no global magnetic field, a thin atmosphere, constant exposure to cosmic rays. Over time, this could lead to accelerated aging, memory impairment, increased neurological disorders. It can shield habitats, can't shield biology perfectly. The standard answer is always the same. Just build underground. That helps, but it doesn't solve gravity. It doesn't restore Earth's magnetic field. It doesn't recreate a full biosphere. Life evolved inside a very specific planetary system. Mars is missing several core ingredients. No amount of concrete can replace a deep atmosphere, a strong magnetosphere, and a stable surface gravity. Mars's habitats won't feel like Earth. They will feel like survival machines. Mars isn't just physically hostile. It's psychologically brutal. Consider daily life with no open sky, no natural wind, no living ecosystem, and no spontaneous outdoor movement. Every step outside requires a suit. Every failure risks death. This constant background stress rewires the brain. Every time anxiety increases, risk tolerances drop, social tension rises. A small crew can handle this for months. A civilization? Well, that's uncharted territory. This isn't an anti-Mars argument. Mars is still invaluable for science, for understanding planetary evolution, for testing survival technologies. But there's a difference between visiting Mars and living on Mars. Mars may be a frontier. It's not a home. Mars colonization persists because it solves a psychological need. It gives us a sense of escape, a backup plan a story of survival. But biology doesn't care about stories. The human body evolved for Earth, and Earth alone. Mars may tolerate us temporarily. It will never welcome us. If this changed how you think about humanity's future in space, share it with someone who still believes Mars is our next home. And stay with the channel, because the most important space discoveries aren't always about where we can go, but where we can't. Mars isn't teaching us how to escape Earth. It's teaching us how rare Earth really is. And that may be the most important discovery of all.